as a facilitator for Franklin Covey's Speed of Trust, I kind of like the importance of trust and as a person trustworthy. And trust involves two different things, character and competence. And their character is really their intent and their integrity. And then their competence is basically their capabilities and their results. And those things are just really important for a solid foundation for relationships as well. When giving bus drivers authority with student discipline, that's kind of a tricky question, but it's vitally important that they follow what their school guidelines suggest. And in working with school transportation departments over the last 5 to 7 years, I've come across a couple different studies, but one in particular was done by Brian Sims in 1997, and it was called Driving and Thriving. And what he found was that it's really important that whatever happens on the bus, that the bus driver exhibits, whether it be a reprimand or they have difficulties with certain students, that they communicate that. Communicate, and document. So when you talk to the administrator of the school building where the student is, you're not only verbally telling them, but you're also going to give them something in writing so that they can, follow up if need be regarding that. I've had some interesting stories shared to me from bus drivers, and a lot of times they weren't familiar with the school discipline policy, and or were of the old school approach, and thought it was okay to, literally grab a kid by the ear and drag him to the front of the bus, and that is not okay in any way, shape, or form. It's a huge responsibility. There was an article that I read sometime within the last year, and I apologize, I can't remember the author, but she referred to the bus as like a playground on wheels, is how some kids see it. And we need to really build a relationship between the transportation drivers and the classroom teachers so that there can be that consistency piece. So MTSS refers to a multi-tiered system of support, and PBIS is one of the components underneath that umbrella. MTSS is a school-wide framework for positive behavioral supports. It's really works with student management, both academically and behaviorally. And so the PBIS is kind of the behavior piece, and RTI, or response to intervention, has been traditionally referred to as maybe the academic support system that we provide for kids. And so PBIS, Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, is a framework for teaching students expectations and procedures. One of the most unchallenged assumptions in education is that our students are coming to school knowing how to behave and how to learn, and that's not always the case. If they've never ridden a bus before, they're not going to know what's expected of them as far as getting on the bus, lining up and waiting for the bus after school. I would do after school duty as a middle school teacher, and the kids were just, yes, it was the end of the day and they were excited to get out of there, but for some reason they felt like they didn't have to follow the rules when it came to the bus, and that's not the case at all. So MTSS provides a support for that. School districts often have MTSS systems in place, so it would be really easy to tap into that from the transportation avenue to get those MTSS procedures, the PBIS work, on the school buses as well.